Yeah, it's a great honor to present this paper by Dao2, which is from Google DeepMind. And they build an agent called AMIE, which built upon the POM 2, and it's for clinical style conversational agent. So that is the background. So most agent answer a single comprehensive problem, and clinician work isn't like that. It's a turn-by-turn conversation where the doctor gathers information and updates the plan. AME is built for the clinical conversational level, and is evaluated with OSCE, which I show here is objective structural clinical examination, a multi-station standardized setup with thorough rubrics, so we can fairly judge how well the agent perform like a clinician. So that is a related work. This paper, okay, the figure compares classic static MAQ-A and agent clinics interactive settings. Across many popular models, accuracy falls a lot once you require turn-by-turn questioning and decisions. Even some MAQ-A models don't stay strong in conversation. That gap motivates AMIE, a system designed for clinical dialogue and measured with standardized OSCE rubrics, not just single-shot Q&A. So that is an example of OSCE. So OSCE is a multi-station exam with standardized patients and detailed rubrics. So in each station, the clinician moves from inspection to deeper maneuvers, asks focused question, and then summarize a plan. That is exactly the kind of turn-by-turn reasoning we want from a clinical agent, which is why MA is tested under OSCE to fairly measure conversation quality and clinical decision-making. Yeah, as we can show here. This is from YouTube online. I hope the license is fine, since we can talk it later. Okay, so that is the background. So although MIE archive version is from early 2024, and the Nature paper appears in 2025, during which agent improved a lot, but I still found this work is still very valuable. It isn't open source and it's text only. That is a drawback. So there are reproducibility and multimodal gaps. And OSC isn't a real clinic, but AMA gives us two big lessons that persists. Treat clinical AI as a multi-term conversation and evaluate with standardized clinically meaningful rubrics. So AMA isn't just trained on static Q&A. It's instruction tuned on medical reasoning, long-form question and answer, summarization, real dialogues, and crucially, self-play clinical conversation, which is by the dual self-play. A veneer generator show here inside the dual self-play. A veneer generator creates a go-level case. A moderator here. A moderator runs the session. Patient agent reveals info. I'm not sure here. Here, the patient agent. And a doctor agent question and updates the differential diagnosis. And a critic scores against ground truths and feedbacks. The doctor then takes a second pass, producing higher quality traces that fine-tune AMIE. At runtime, AME flows and workflow like analyze, plan, answer, refine, train. So it behaves like a clinician, not a one-shot QA model, as I mentioned before. Okay, so why do we need simulated dialogue? So real clinic logs underrepresent the real diseases and different languages. So models don't generalize. They are also noisy. So their slang, interruption, and implicit reference make supervision weak. So self-play let us generate complete vignettes with ground truths and force the agent to go turn by turn like a real console. So in AMIE, self-play produced 11K dialogues covering 5K conditions. It's cited from Health QA for common cases and Malakat for MedicineNet for the rare case. Each dialogue average 21 terms. So for example, okay, so there's a patient. So doctor say hi, patient say how are you? They consider 2 terms. So the model learned to ask, reason, update the differential, and plan next steps, not just answer a single question. I'm mentioning so many times. Sorry. Okay, that is Malakars. example, you can see there are the symptom, everything you need. It's not conversational, but you have some valuable ground truths. So the self-play will not just do some random thing that is not existing in this world. And that is the medicine, and also this is for real case, also similar. And now I wanted to like explain more about the linear generator. So we first pull, the Google DeepMind first pulled about 60 evidence passages covering demographics, symptoms, and management. Then POM2 filters out off-topic text. And from that, it might compose vignettes with ground truth diagnosis and plan. These vignettes simulated doctor-patient dialogue. The result is evidence-grounded conversations, including rare conditions. They're clean enough for iterative fine-tuning. And this is for the multi-agent. This part, inner self-play part, and the paper simulates consult in an online chat. So the patient agent answers faithfully to the vignette. The doctor agent conducts empathetic history taking and propose a differential and plan. And the moderator enforces turn rules and decides when to stop, when to start, of course. And after each round, a critic scores the conversation against the ground truths and offers feedback, enabling an improved second pass. Then a multi-turn tree is then used for the fine-tuning, as I showed before. And that's when I'm gonna explain the self-play critic. The framework add a critic agent that knows the ground truths. And after each patient doctor round, the critic scores the dialogue and the rubric checking empathy, clarity, lack of repetition, whether enough questions were asked to surface at least two possible differentials, and whether the final diagnosis and plan align with the case. The doctor then reruns the same case using that feedback. This feedback revised cycle is repeated twice, and then the revised transcripts are used in the next fine-tuning round. So this I just show the do-self-play case. The first round, here we are, gathering history bias generic and repetitive with lay reassurance and scattered differential. The critics, knowing the ground truths, ask for specific median nerve questions and a clearer plan, and they write it in the set. And round two, the doctor adopt the guidance, targeted the question, and a concept differential, and a concrete plan. And this illustrates how the feedback loop upgrades dialogue quality for fine-tuning. So this part is for instruction fine-tuning. It's how you train the AMI based on POM2 as I mentioned before. Wait a second. The paper fine-tune AMI on a mix of tests. So doctor-patient dialogue, medical QA, reasoning, insurance summarization, and long-form outputs. The training follows curriculum start with static data set, as the four data above, and then introduce self-play dialogues. In dialogues, the objective is next-term prediction, with the doctor sharing the history, differential, and plan. And the non-dialogue tasks use a few short exemplars. And this is for reasoning chain. So before every run, MA runs a short internal chain. First, it analyzes the chat so far, key positives, negatives, and whether the missing informations and recover the differential. And second, it generates an empathetic reply that asks target questions. And when appropriate, recommends immediate actions or outlines next steps. The third, it refines for factual consistency and clarity because it's that builds on the last. The agent sadly reduce uncertainty while keep this composition safe and understandable. So this part I show the evaluation part. So we already trained the MAE and then it's evaluate how, like whether the model actually outperform the PCP, the primary care physician. The evaluation is an OSE style text only file. So for each scenario, standardized patient chat with both a primary care physician and AMI double binding. And This use 2 transcripts per case, and the patient actor rates empathy, the communication. And each agent also submits a differential diagnosis, plan tests and treatments, and an escalation of follow-up. And the blinding specialists then review the scenarios, ground truths alongside the transcript and questionnaires. Scores cover multiple axes, and we can see uh, the MA almost outperforms the PCV at all axes. So that is just the UI. The paper shows how it's online test based, how the patients and how the specialists rate the performance of the agent. Because this is the last part about the conclusion. So to summarize, MA earned nature because it tackles a clinically real problem. Diagnostic dialogue using an integrated method, dual loop self-play with a critic, instruction fine-tuning, and well-developed rubrics, then test it in a clinical grade randomized blinded OSE. And the system shows clear wins over the PCPs, primary physician, on most dimensions and scales to rare case. And despite being text only and closed, the study sets a rigorous template for building and evaluating clinical agents. And yeah, that's pretty much today's presentation, and I'm open to any maybe question to the paper I introduced.